The case for genocide is on the table. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your favorite Zionist prince, the traveling clad Tal, coming to you live from Israel. Let's take a look at this clip.
Tonight we are here to confront lies that masquerade as truth, and accusations which are intended actually to inflame rather than to inform.
By the way, guys, if you love my channel and believe in what I do, subscribe right now because I'm trying to hit 500,000 subscribers and we are inching closer to it. So please subscribe.
This is a debate which twists the language of justice into a weapon of hate. These claims don't only defame Israel, but they actually insult the memory of true victims of the heinous crimes of genocide and apartheid. And this motion has a reckless disregard for history, law, and truth. These allegations aren't critiques of policies, they're assaults, and above all else, they're an appeal to prejudice rather than reason. They assume that you will believe them because you have been primed by previous slurs against the state of Israel. But I am here tonight to appeal to your sense of reason. I hope that you are better than that you are smarter than that, and that you are more open to hearing different views than that. We will dismantle those falsehoods and expose the hypocrisy and malice of those who wield them. But first, I must begin by addressing the very organization and nature of this debate. The title itself is an outrage, and the speakers are possibly the most aggressive people who the president could have invited. Debate is meant to be a form of discussion that will help people understand one another's point of view. You're right. Debate is designed to enlighten, but this one isn't. It's designed to antagonize for your entertainment. But I'm not here to entertain you. This isn't my first encounter with this sort of vitriol in this chamber. When I was a student here some 23 years ago, the president then invited the infamous Holocaust denier David Irving to come and speak. The invitation was eventually rescinded after an uproar, but not before I experienced overt and explicit anti-Semitism in the form of jeers and laughter like that in this very room, more or less where that gentleman over there is sitting. Today's president invited a man who justifies the atrocities of October the 7th. Unfortunately, he was too scared to be here tonight, and that psychopath will be here tomorrow instead, unchallenged by debate. We are left instead with someone who called for normalizing massacres as the status quo, someone who called Volodymyr Zelensky a Nazi promoting Zionist, and called to wipe off the state of Israel from the map, and somebody who called Jews sleazy thieves. Clearly, people interested in conflict resolution and peaceful coexistence. No, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you.
Information cannot be made unless the speaker accepts it.
Shame. So here I am again in this very room, once more confronted by plenty of hatred directed at Jews. These accusations are grotesque, they're not honest criticisms, and they are indeed aimed at the Jewish state. Claims of apartheid and genocide twist history's darkest crimes and use them as weapons against Israel. The accusers themselves are actually guilty of the crimes they allege Israel is committing. I have three exceptional colleagues with me tonight who will help me in making this case. Two Arabs with personal experience and biography which will debunk these false allegations of apartheid and genocide, and a legal expert who speaks with international law authority. As for me, I am a proud Jew. My late father was a Holocaust survivor. He was hidden by Catholic clergy in Italy from a regime that sought to deport him for extermination simply because of his race and religion. That is genocide. That is apartheid. And it bears no resemblance to the lies being peddled against Israel tonight. So let's begin with some definitions, which Mr. Al-Kurd declined to give. We need to look at the 1948 Genocide Convention and the 1973 Apartheid Convention. These will give us legal definitions, but remember, they're not interested in law. They're interested in big slurs to do big damage. Genocide requires acts intended to destroy in whole or in part a racial, ethnic, national, or religious group. Apartheid entails inhuman acts committed with the intent of establishing and maintaining domination by one racial group over another. Legally, both these crimes hinge on intent, specific, documented, unmistakable intent. This is not a matter of opinion, it's a matter of law. There is no policy of racial discrimination, no intent to destroy. You will find no documentation of Israeli meetings at government level planning any such thing. The Nazis at their Wannsee conference planned what they called the final solution to the Jewish question. But you will find no Israeli equivalent. You know what you will find? Look in the New York Times. You'll find the minutes of 10 meetings. You will find in the New York Times the minutes of 10 meetings from Hamas and their Iranian backers and Hezbollah planning what they called the big plan. That is, the genocidal attack that took place on the 7th of October, 2023. In Rwanda in 1994, radio broadcasts directed civilians to murder their neighbors with machetes. 800,000 people were killed in 100 days. During the Holocaust, my family were subject to racial laws which discriminated against them, deported people for extermination. In Gaza, Israel has no such aim, no such plan, no such action. Instead, Israel does go to extraordinary lengths to try to avoid civilian deaths. It cancels airstrikes when there is a risk of excessive civilian deaths. There are plenty of documented instances. It issues warnings before airstrikes. Hamas, on the other hand, does hide its weapons, its control centers, in schools, in mosques, in universities, in hospitals.
Order. The speaker will be heard in silence.
Israel has provided 700,000 tons of food to Gaza during this war. That is a daily average. That is a daily average of 3,200 calories per person. The NHS in this country...
Order! Order! The speaker is entitled to be heard in silence.
See Yosef and Mossab. Like, listen, motherfucker. Love these guys so much. All right, we'll skip forward here. It seems like there was a big mess. I mean, this tells you everything, by the way, about the pro-Palestinian crowd. I mean, we feel this all the time. All the time. There's an inability to let the other side speak the truth. That's how you know. You know, they always talk about... Sorry, I have to cut in here. They always talk about the being a supporter of Israel, the Jews, is like being a sheep. It's like, bro, if you are pro-Palestinian, you are the most sheeple human being there ever has existed. Sorry, microphone, for spitting on you. I have braces now. I spit everywhere. I got it in Invisalign. If you are pro-Palestinian, pro-Arab, you are the most sheep of a human being you could ever be. If you just go along with all the Arab supremacist Islamist lies that 2 billion people subscribe to, that's a sheep. That's a fucking sheep right there. That's the sheepiest you could ever be. Are you kidding me?
Remind the member that there be no recording. Could I have order, please? The speaker will continue. Jonathan, please finish your speech.
I might just say that I understand there are plenty of people in this room who don't agree with us, who don't like us. But this esteemed establishment is meant to be a bastion of free speech, discussion, and debate. And this example is not any of those things. And I urge all of you, I'm here to tell you my side of an argument. I also attended this university, I was a student here, and I understand that part of the experience of being a student is to be challenged by thoughts and facts and information that you may not agree with or you may not like. But to shout like that, to abuse a speaker who is being respectful and giving you their side of an argument is not the way to achieve better knowledge or understanding of anything. I will give all of the proposition speakers their dues.
Look at the two, mind you, beautiful Muslim women right here, unable to even clap for that. Look how much it tells you. It tells you everything you need to know. Everybody else, look at the two Muslim women right here, unable to clap for that. Unable to clap for the idea of just having a conversation. You tell me who's the sheep. Tell me who's the sheep. Tell me.
Israel has provided 700,000 tons of food to the people of Gaza, which is 3,200 calories per Gazan citizen per day on average. And that is, whether you like it or not, above the NHS recommended amounts for men in this country. Gazans are receiving more food per day than the world average during the war. Madam, if you have a point of information, stand up and make it. Stand up and make it.
On a point of order, you may not speak unless the speaker recognizes you. Please let the speaker finish.
I'm letting her speak. What would you like to say, madam? I'm not. The thing is, just because you say so doesn't mean it's true.
I don't know if you guys have ever seen my parody video about the history of Palestine. There was a point in the time where I start talking about the kafia, and I'm like, this means that these are the Palestinian. Here, I have a kafia right here, conveniently. See, I'm a propagandist. I said these fishing nets are actually olives because I said so. That's the whole Palestinian crux of the argument. My history is my history because I said so. Not because of actual history, but because I said so.
The reason there are people who are going without food in Gaza is because Hamas stole the food. No, thank you. The UN said that 90 trucks were hijacked last week, and even the BBC reported it. No, thank you. Israel has vaccinated 97% of the Gazan population against polio during this war. You did not catch the Nazis doing that. No. Just because you dislike losing an unnecessary war you started does not make something genocide.
So I think I'm going to end it here because while I appreciate Jonathan Sacredori's rhetoric here, I do think that this kind of falls into the same Hasbara shtick as always. It's Holocaust, and here's what we're doing right. Here's what we're doing right. I am more interested, and we're going to be looking at the clips of Mossab Hassan Youssef and Yosef Haddad going on the offensive. I believe in these moments when we have the right to defend ourselves, we should go on the offense, and we should attack, and we should bite back. And again, not to disqualify his speech. I'm sure it was good and it served its purpose. It's just not something I can personally sit down and tolerate too much because it's just too much at a certain point of the same shtick. Look, if anybody's watching this, I'd like to make an appeal. If you know how I could get invited to the Oxford Union to speak, I would love the opportunity to try to speak in this type of crowd. I think that a highly aggressive crowd like this would be a place where I'd be able to shine and give my speech. I've already put in the work in America. If you guys saw my lectures, I've got the knowledge. I've got the prowess to be able to speak and present this stuff. I would love the opportunity. I'll buy a fucking suit if I have to. I don't have a suit, but I'll buy one. If anybody knows how I could get involved, please let me know in the comments down below or email me, let me know, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I love you a long time. Goodbye, Klats. If you believe in my content and want to support me, just know your help is needed. There's a bunch of great ways to support me, being PayPal, Buy Me a Coffee, or joining my Patreon community down below. Patreon is the best way to support my channel, and you'll get a bunch of cool perks depending on what tier you join. Another great way to support me is by buying my merchandise on thetravelingclat.com. I regularly drop new merch designs like this beautiful hat, or this amazing shirt, where you can support the channel and get something cool for yourself. I also have an amazing Discord community with people from all over the world. Thank you so much for your support.